Dr. Kilde, nowadays it's often not safe to fly anymore because you never know where the plane will land or so. We just had the Polish crash, and it makes you wonder, and you start to speculate and say, is it a so-called coincidence, or what is going on? What do you think about it? Is it some kind of, could it be some kind of act, revenge? Could it be something to do with the EU swine flu, or that Poland don't want the Coke Zero, the one with aspartame? What kind of speculations can we make about this?
Well, anybody can speculate, but I don't think we are ever going to find in the next 30 years the real truth. Because I was shocked to see the first pictures of the plane. The cockpit part was like cut with a laser. And immediately I thought of an incident when many years ago from New York a plane was shot down going to Dominican Republic, and they were putting it into the newspapers that the latter part of the plane was like cut with a laser. They have those beam weapons that can do that. Whether it was done or whether it was just a coincidence, like you said, I don't believe in coincidences. I really don't. And when you speculate, you always have to ask who benefits. And then you can maybe understand who is behind it, if it just wasn't an accident. Now, all of a sudden, the newspapers say that, of course, they said that the pilots were so bad. They always say pilots are bad. And they tried to land 3 times. Now, number 3 is number 1 code for intelligence services when they do bad things. And then they said that the plane it was a Russian Tupolev, had been, something had been happening with it, though they were correcting it 66 times. Again, a code for intelligence services. I thought that was very strange. And then that the president and the whole military elite and the archbishop and the vice foreign minister and the vice minister for what was it? I forget now. But anyway, and members of parliaments were there. But the whole military elite, 6 generals, an admiral. Now that is pretty risky to put them all in one plane, because anything can happen. And when you're going to a country where Poland and Russia have always been, against each other, and where Prime Minister Putin a week before was honoring the victims of Katyn, 20,000 Polish officers were killed in the Second World War, but the president of Poland was not invited, so they arranged this new memorial thing. When you think that the health minister of Poland, a lady, refused the swine flu injections because they have not been inspected enough, correctly so, the whole nation. And when you think of the possibility of revenge, so I do speculate, one has to put a question mark, because also that much I know about flying, that the language of the pilots in every country is English. They use English so they can understand. If they fly to Finland, they don't have to understand Finnish. Now the papers said that the pilots did not understand Russian, that in the last phase they changed to Russian. Why? They did have, according to the papers, a Russian-speaking people, but look, the pilots have to know. And then they said the pilots ignored when they said they have to fly to another city or whatever. Pilots don't normally ignore when they get advice after 3 times trying to land. And why was there so much smog? That is a military weapon too. They can change the climate and they can all of a sudden put smog all over so you can't see. Now, is that a coincidence? It could be natural, but it could be artificial. So speculations, I'm sure, are going to run. But somebody who, according to Finnish newspapers, had accused accused Russia for being behind this accident, so was probably forced to say, I'm sorry. Nobody can prove anything, but a lot of people can start thinking. Again, you have to start thinking yourself and not believe what the papers say, because they give different information in different papers and in different days.
And there was, I think I read somewhere that there was, like, you know, a rabbi who was supposed to be on the plane but who didn't want to go.
Yeah,
So
there were several.
Okay.
According to, again, Finnish papers.
Yeah.
Maybe your
Yeah.
paper said there was one.
Yeah, okay.
But Jewish rabbis were invited to come to this memorial service. I'm sure there were also Jewish officers who were killed, Polish. And so, but they had refused. And they gave an excuse that it's Saturday, it's Sabbath, and they don't, you know, fly or drive their car if they're very Orthodox. Well, September 11th, it was speculated that 4,000 Jewish people got a warning, don't go to the job that day, and they went playing golf, if this is true. Then also in Oklahoma, where children were killed also, people had gotten telephone calls that don't go to job. Now, something is going on that is not correct, but the truth will come out after decades, I think.
But it's just, you know, Poland, the president was talking about, you know, lowering the zloty, the currency in Poland, so to stabilize the economy. And Poland has been, how to say, in resistance towards the European Union, to be a member of the European Union. So there are so many tricky things here. They don't want the Coke Zero with the aspartame. You know, there's so many things just around this little, it's not a little country, but around Poland.
I would think the most important reason could be, though, that Poland became a NATO country and agreed with Americans to put shields at the so-called shields of the border, officially against Iran. Now you cannot be so stupid that Poland's border is putting shields against Iran because Russia is next door. Now that Russia officially opposed, like it did for the Czechoslovakian border too, and it was cancelled in both. But still, they were going to. If you look for motives, that could be a motive. But of course, this is just speculation.
Yes, speculation.
And none of us know, and we won't know in our lifetime, I think. Very sad, very, very sad. The whole elite of Poland in one plane. It taught us something. Don't ever put the whole elite in one plane. In Finland, we have to have maximum 8 members of parliament in a plane. And the royalty can never fly, all of them in the same plane. And the royalty, I read from Queen Elizabeth, they also, when they fly, they also have a black dress with them in case something would happen, a death of a family or something, so they can come dressed properly, dressed in black. So they think all the details. But there are no coincidences normally.
No, but now people can start to speculate and find their own truth.
That's right. Everybody has their own truth, depending on the information they get. And don't believe in the information that comes from the mass media. Think yourself.